Hi, so here is the American Rhetoric website speech I chose was by Ronald Reagan, entitled Evil Empire. And this speech, President Reagan was attending the annual convention of the Association of Evangelicals in 1983. Reagan made several points throughout his speech, with recurring themes of patriotism, holding dear and protecting freedoms while addressing current world events at the time. Indeed, he was illustrating his thoughts and beliefs how to approach political scenarios and turmoils of the world was facing in 1983. The speech had many mentions regarding freedom, freedom to practice and hold religious views without interference of the government, that we as Americans will not compromise our morals in order to appease other nations, nor will we surrender the freedoms that we already hold. In his opening remarks, Reagan began by thanking those responsible for organizing the event and inviting him to speak. And he thanked the organization for their humanitarian efforts and political support, thus gaining their respect. Amidst these expressions of gratitude, he put in a few jokes that were very lighthearted and provided some humility for his office as President of the United States. It appeared, though, that he was speaking to like-minded individuals. People that are supporting him probably have similar beliefs. By starting with this gratitude and these humble jokes, created himself a safe space to speak. And he made a connection with his audience so that they are more likely to be more engaged and attentive through the rest of his speech. And thanking them in ways where thank you for serving our country, and that we are partners in the effort, so that just reaffirming that connection that I'm just one of you. And that's easier to listen to, I think. But as far as nonverbal communication, he doesn't talk with his hands a lot. I know I do. But he uses a lot of eye contact. His eye contact is always on the audience or on the camera for those watching at home. And he does a lot of head nods and pausing for emphasis, and as well as applause. But I noticed that he would pause for certain phrases that just gave it a little more emphasis. And I did myself experience listening challenges while following the speech. The first way you can see this is that it took me 3 days to effectively complete listening to the speech in its entirety. During my first attempt, my time was a constraint. I realized I didn't have enough time to finish watching the whole video once I saw how long it was. Once I realized that, I paused it and moved on to my next thing. And the next obstacle was the next time I tried to do it. I have 3 children. The best time for me to work on school assignments is when they've gone to bed or when they are distracted with friends and games. My second attempt watching the speech, I did wait till I went to bed and they were all asleep, and I completed my other coursework, and I began to listen to the speech. And by about minute 12 of 30, I realized I'd already dozed off multiple times. So that told me it wasn't a good time to get anything out of the speech. But today I left my kids had friends over to play, which mostly did the trick. There's still several requests for snacks and finding help and arranging things, but ultimately I had enough time to complete the speech and even take a few notes and write out my own thoughts about it once I was able to actually finish the whole thing. Knowing I had to kind of report what I had heard from the speech made my effort to listen acutely more strong. I made sure that I was hearing it and paused it when I'd get interrupted with another ones. But I don't do this with everything. It's just I know that I had to pay attention to this project. But there are activities where I don't feel that I need to listen as intently and still get the message across. I find when I'm driving long distances, I can listen to an audiobook and I can hear the story and follow along just fine, and I'm not missing terms or in other ways distracting from my driving. I'm able to pay attention to the road, my surroundings, and listen to a story at the same time. When I walk my dog at night, I listen to podcasts or audio books, and not only am I getting the benefit of listening to that, I'm also getting exercise, and so is my dog. So win-win-win. But I'm able to split my focus during some activities. I can't listen to all three of my kids tell me how to be at school and all at the same time. They may get their talking out, but the message doesn't get across because there's too much coming in at me. So I find that a routine task, like walking a dog or driving a familiar route or doing the dishes, can leave more leeway to listen to something specifically and still complete a task effectively.